And we are back. Welcome back again to the Model Works. We are ready for another update on the Jungle Gym Funny Car. Don't have a lot to show you. We have a few things done. We have the tin work completed, and we have the engine, most of the components on the engine done. And we have the chassis, frame chassis completed. Well, it really wasn't anything to do to it except put one cross member on the front and then paint it. So not much to it really. We'll show you what we've got completed. Like I said, the tin work, which is just craft acrylic. I believe it is Deco Art. Yeah, Deco Art Gold Metallic. I'm not crazy about it being metallic, but it is the proper shade pretty much. So we have that done and painted that up and then let it sit in the dehydrator for a couple of hours. And I tell you that if you've not tried a dehydrator to, especially with the craft acrylics, it's not really a big issue with the lacquers, of course, because the lacquers and the enamels, except for the long dry times with the enamel, they pretty much dry very durable, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But the craft acrylics, if you use those a lot, then the dehydrator really helps them come along, especially if you use the multi-purpose or the outdoor, the craft acrylic that's for outdoor use or whatever. If you bake that in the dehydrator, it really does toughen it up, and that's what I did. That's what's on the chassis here is Folk Art multi-purpose or multi-surface, I should say, satin black, and I did it about 2 coats of it, and then I put it in the dehydrator at 95 degrees for about 2 hours, and I've just been messing around, just checking it in kind of inconspicuous spots and scratching it with my fingernail. I'm sure I could get it to come off, but just lightly scratching it, it's not budging it. And then normally you can look at craft acrylic the wrong way and it'll come off almost. Those of you who use it and are kind of familiar with it. So this will help, especially with masking. If you use Tamiya tape, I don't think it'll be a bit of trouble with it, and just give you a little extra insurance when you're using craft acrylic. The engine's complete. Like I said, we've done quite a bit of the metallizer work, AK Interactive, the extreme metals. The valve covers are, I believe, the polished stainless. We have the Deco Art for the gold for the engine front, and for the oil pan, that's what the instructions call for. And my research picks pretty much verify that was gold on at least on the ones I saw of his car. So we used stainless steel for the rear cover and the transmission cover. The blower is duraluminum, and I believe this is dark aluminum for the injectors. So turned out pretty good. And then what we'll do is we will probably I've got some resin pulleys, and I may put those on instead of the blower belt assembly that comes with the kit, because this is an older reissue, and the crank pulley that has the teeth on it, the molds are just about shot on, at least on that part, and the teeth are almost all gone. It's almost worn smooth, and so I may do that or come up with something else besides that. So at any rate, and we're gonna come back in there afterwards probably, and with some AK weathering powders, maybe some AK pigments. I've got some of those and some Vallejo, and kind of metal up around the edges here and make it look like it's really seen some heavy duty wear and tear. So, but that's pretty much all we've got for that. I'll put this aside, and I do have the engine. I mean, excuse me, I do have the body cleared. So you saw the last time you saw it, I had painted it, but I didn't have it cleared, and this is cleared. I have not polished it or anything. It's really turned out great. Now this, I deviated from my normal Tester's gloss enamel top coat. This is the MCW enamels that they have just come out with in the last few months or so. And I think I showed you a scrap body I painted with one of the paints that I bought. I bought 7 or 8 bottles, and I think I bought 2 bottles of half-ounce bottles of their gloss enamel. And I mixed it just like I do my Testers with 1 bottle of the enamel mixed with a half-ounce bottle of the cheap hardware store lacquer thinner, and it turned out it performed just like the Testers enamel gloss coat does, just beautifully. Shot it through my Pache H with the number 5 head and needle this time at about 34, 35 pounds, and it performed just like a champ. Laid down extremely well, and I probably won't sand this because it really doesn't need it. I probably will just hit it with maybe the Novus number 2. It's got a couple of spots that there's a little bitty piece or two of surface trash right, well, I don't see it now. Right there. There's one right there. I can get that, though, I think, with the polish. And then maybe hit it with the Novus number 1 spray, the cleaner cleaner wax, and then be through with it. So turned out really good. And the whole side of the body is going to be covered in decal, so really no need to do a lot of sanding and polishing on that. It doesn't need it anyway. It turned out just as good. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just as good as the top did. So, and it really looks good. I was really pleased with it, and really pleased the way the sprue glue came out on the nose and tail piece. I don't know if you can really tell much with this light, but it really is seam free. It's the rear really is really came out good. I'm really tickled with it. So all right, so there we are. That's pretty much all we've got going on this week. Like I said, I don't have a lot to show you, but we're going to be ready to start detailing the engine, and I don't think I'll do a whole lot. I'm going to, of course, do plug wires and maybe some fuel lines coming from the tank over to the fuel pump. I don't know if I'll do anything up to the injectors or not. As I said, that can be kind of tricky when I display all my cars, funny cars, with the bodies down, mainly because I keep all my cars inside, cases, and I don't display them with, the bodies up. I can't, put them in a case with the body up anyway. So, in order to keep that lowered, then you really have to be careful about how you run anything up around, the top of the engine. Now, it can be done if you just take your time and, but I very seldom ever show the inside to anybody. Many people have seen my models, but I don't recall anyone saying, "How about take the lid off that thing and let me take a look inside the engine bay, or raise that body up, let me look inside there, look at the engine on your funny cars or whatever." Now, top fuel dragster is a different thing. It's out in the open and displayed, where everybody can see it. But I just hate going to all that trouble and then it never gets looked at, or I know it of course, but um, I don't think I'm going to do too much, but just concentrate on a good paint job and get the decals to do their thing and be through with it. So all right, there we go. I think we're done for today and for this week. Hope everyone has a good work week. And until I talk to you again, take care of one another. May God bless you and your family. Don't take any crap.